This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the LD Micro Invitational 2018 in Bel Air, California. With me right now is Will Febbo from OptimizeRx. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is OPRX. Will, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you back. So, for our audience, let's get an overview of the company, and we'll go from there.
Sure. My name is Will Febbo, as you said, CEO of OptimizeRx. We're a health tech company that services pharmaceutical manufacturers when they're trying to communicate with physicians when they're with their patients.
So last time we had you on was, I think, this time last year, 2017. So let's get an update. What's been going on in the company?
Well, if you remember, our company has three ways to grow. We can get more clients, more pharmaceutical companies and their brands. We can get more access to physicians, which we do through electronic health record partners, and we can add more solutions. So this time last year, we basically had one solution. We had access to a good number of physicians, and we had a certain number of brands, maybe 70 brands, 200,000 physicians in one solution. Fast forward to now, we have over 100 brands. We access over 300,000 physicians, and we now have two solutions working on two more. Q1 of 2018, we grew 91% over Q1 2017, and had a really great 17 with about 60% growth.
And for those who may not have seen our first interview, what's the solution and the problem, for that matter, that you're looking to solve?
Absolutely. So pharmaceutical companies over the last 10 years have faced a real challenge with accessing physicians who are their clients. And they used to use sales representatives to do that. Legislation came out which really made it hard for them to get into the hospitals. So how are they going to communicate all this information to the doctor? At the same time, doctors were required to put all of our medical records on a computer. That's called an electronic health record system. So we have partnerships with those EHRs. And so we go to pharma and we say, listen, you have financial messages, which is basically helping the patient afford their medication by covering the copay. You have patient education, and you also have clinical data that comes out continually. So let us digitize that, put it into our cloud-based technology platform, and deliver it when the physician is on the computer with the patient, prescribing and or looking at their chart. And this is tremendous value to all the stakeholders. Pharma, because they can reach their client digitally and transparently. The doctor, because the doctor wants the patient to be able to afford the drugs. And so we facilitate that. And then for the physician and the patient relationship, the patient actually stays on the prescriptions. The big problem on the patient side is they get to CVS and it's $200 and they just walk away and don't tell the physician. So that's a big problem today. We feel like we're solving that. So lots of stakeholders benefit from this.
So I'm also curious to talk about the competitive landscape. What differentiates? I'm sure there's other companies out there doing something similar, maybe not exactly the same. So what differentiates OptimizeRx from others out there in the space?
I'll give you a specific example. So when a pharmaceutical company wants to reach physicians, it's not all physicians. It's actually an incredibly exact subset of physicians that they've studied and looked at for years. And so in dermatology, for example, we can access 87% of the dermatologists in the country. So when you go in with that and you talk to a brand and say, we can deliver financial messaging or brand messaging to that community, there is no one else who can do that. There are companies that offer broad services inside the EHR channel. That's actually good for the market because pharma will never single source everything. So I would say the value is access, transparency, and then, as you've seen from last year, we can measure all this. So their marketing dollars get a pure ROI study on it, and it's not done by us, so it's an independent ROI. And they average 5 to 1 for every dollar.
So what side of the coin are you trying to get more of? Or really you want to kind of get into the network first and then you can go after the other? Is it the physician and then the pharmaceutical companies or vice versa?
We're past the chicken and egg a little bit because we have critical mass, but right. You've got it. If you don't have access, you can't go to your client and say we can get them. So we now have so much access that it's easier to get more because those are partners for us and we share revenue with them. So they all know that now and we're growing really quickly. So they are coming to us looking for more relationships and more solutions. And on the pharma side, once you start tipping past million-plus accounts, they take you more seriously and they want to spend more with you. So last year, the other big difference is I didn't have a lot of visibility into projecting revenue. Now I have a much more visibility because we have such a strong sales team, close relationships, good CRM, all those things are in place.
And again, what's your background? How did you get into all this?
So my passion for the last almost 20 years has been bridging, communicating between pharmaceutical industry and physicians. They have to coexist. Without one without the other, there's no innovation, there's no treatment, there's no improvement of outcomes. But they are inherently conflicted to talk to each other. So my first startup was something called MedPanel, where we did online market research between those two parties. I ended up selling that, and then got to know OPRX through the buyer of that company. And it is exactly the same thing, only it's even more intense now because physicians didn't go to med school to sit on a computer, right? And they're spending 6 hours a day on a computer, which is not good for care. So our mission is to really bring solutions into that point of care that reduces the time for the physician on the computer, increases adherence for patients, and reduces the cost of the drugs.
And also, from what you can tell me, what are some of the company's growth drivers moving forward?
So we've got 3 levers. One, sales team, go get them, and I'm telling you to go get them because they're going to listen to this, and they're doing a sensational job. We're working with a lot of new partners on the channel side. We recently announced NextGen, which is one of the larger partners, and we're working on all the others. And then ultimately, I now have a really strong team around product and operations, and so we're looking at 2 or 3 new solutions. So when we sit here next year, I hope to have 3 or 4.
And where can our audience go and find more information about OptimizeRx?
So you can call me, or you can go to the website at OptimizeRx.com.
My name is Robert Kraft, and we're coming to you live on SNNLive here at the LD Micro Invitational 2018 in Bel Air, California. With me again has been Will Febbo from OptimizeRx, publicly traded company. The symbol is OPRX. Will, always a pleasure.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.